Good evening to your Tuesday training. This is Claudia Bohorquez from Ontario, Canada. And today we have a special guest. Our special guest of the night is not other than Dr. Romunda, our health expert. And I want to greet Avis from Malaysia, Eve from Connecticut, Faye from Singapore. Got that right, Faye. Sonia from USA, Jillian from San Martin, Adriana from Florida, and Sandra from Albuquerque, if I'm correct. So these are great friends from all over the world. And I'm so excited about this topic, Dr. Ramunda. My goodness. Health is something. Yay, Albuquerque here. Got it. Very good, Sandra. All right. So, Dr. Munda, let's greet our viewers of the night and
let's greet the viewers. What's up, everybody? Hope all is well. This your girl Romunda with the DR in front, coming by way of what? Great, awesome day, great, awesome evening, great, awesome night. But guess what? This is a great opportunity for you to come in and learn about your microbiomes and your gut health. That's it, Claudia. We great represent gut health.
Yeah. So anybody that loves a little bit of education, this is what we're here for. Our gut health expert, gut health educator. And we have a night full of writing. If you want to write this or if you want to watch it on the recording later on, we're going to post this on social media. It's already on the live stream. So let's start, Dr. Umunda. You know, when I started getting really interested in this topic, I had never really heard the word microbiome. I always heard the word health, but I never heard before the word microbiome. And so let's start with that microbiome. What is microbiome?
Microbiomes is organisms like, that's associated in our guts, such as the fungi, the viruses, the bacteria that grows and develop in our gut lining as well. So microbiome is based on talk about the certain like diseases, the diseases of the body, things like that. So it goes into the environment of our gut, associated with the environment of our gut. So a lot of times, different parts of the body, like your skin, certain areas of your body are affected by what goes on in your microbiome. So like, for example, if you have a candida overload, you see, if you got bacteria or infection in your gut, all these things plays a role in your microbiome.
Wow, that's very interesting. And that's what when I started learning about microbiome, the way that they described it to me, and I want to share a little bit of that is we are an ecosystem. And the person that was teaching me said that we have more organisms in our body than stars in the sky.
Really, yeah.
And that we had spent so much time trying to see what was out there, and that we had not started looking at what was inside of us. And now that for over 20 years, God has become the topic of the day, now they realize that they know so little. So they say that it's only about 10% of our microbiome that is known, and that every microbe is essential, and that as we lose them, we cannot a lot of the times bring them back. We bring back some new ones, but it is an ecosystem. And if people know the meaning of ecosystem, I want everybody to picture an aquarium, but not the
like the weakest,
not the water, not the ones that have the like 2 or 3 fish, but the saltwater aquariums that are like yellowfish and big fish, and then they have other things that we can't recognize, and some clean the glass and some clean. Or if you have been in a coral reef, that might work even better in your head. But if you haven't, that's why I give the example of the aquarium. They all need each other. And then the little fish eat plankton, and then the larger fish eat the little fish, and it just goes around and around. And that's what's happening inside of us. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I love it, Dr. Munda. I love the science of microbiome.
Yeah, so, it's interesting because they hang out in certain areas of the body. So it's not like they just over the whole entirety. It's like they hang out in certain areas, like You know, like I said, they might hang out in a corner somewhere. They may hang out in the, the left field somewhere. But they not. It's not like they overriding, suffocating, or struggling within the gut. They hang out in certain places.
And even though, here's my question, even though microbiome we associate as an ecosystem in our body, we associated that it's in our gut, but it's not only in our gut, it's also in our in our
On your
in our
skin,
mouth, right? In our
yeah,
mouth,
right.
and it's in different parts of our body. That's what you're saying, right? Like we
Yep,
have it
yep,
in,
yep.
yeah, it's incredible. So they say that we have more bacteria than cells in our body. We have about 300 trillion bacteria in our body, like Dr. Romunda says, and they're all living with synchronicity. Now, why do you think it's important that we understand that what microbiome is? Like, why do we need to educate people on microbiome?
The reason why I believe that we need to educate people about it because it's another avenue to why we have viruses, what they connect to viruses, bacteria, fungi. People don't have nothing to connect it to, you see. So when you're looking at microbiomes, you're looking at that as way as like what's happening in your gut today? What is doing this? What's happening? What's causing this to happen? Or what, why is it being overridden with such, trigger forces, in our body. So in our bodies are, again, I always talk about the digestive system because the digestive system is a reason why we have the microbiomes as well. So my thing is like I think you heard me always say, if you're not digesting properly, your body's not absorbing properly, not going to digest properly. So what happens in the midst of us not digesting properly? So we have these microbiomes, all these organisms that are in our body. You have good and you have bad. Depends on how you feed them, is how they regulate and dominates the system. Depends on what the system is going through. It could be emotional, could be going through something emotional. So our bodies are like, it's like a mystery sometimes. It's like, but they don't talk about the mystery of the gut, the microbiomes in the gut. They don't talk about it like they should. They kind of keep that as one of them low kind of conversations. But why are you not educating them? Because they need to know what bacteria come from. They need to know what the viruses are stemmed from. They need to know these things. So when you're not teaching them about it, they don't have an idea that it's organisms that because of how you feed them is how they grow. And depends on what you feed them is how they regulate and dominates the system.
Uh-huh. And you said it right. I also, when I was learning this topic, one of the things that I was taught was that just to make it easier, we call it good bacteria and bad bacteria. But the person that was teaching me this, he said, there's no such thing as bad bacteria. They're not really bad. They're just opportunistic, which is what you said. So if
Right.
you're feeding them green vegetables and all the colorful vegetables and, good quality protein, they will thrive. But if you're feeding them sugar and you're feeding them junk food and you're feeding them greasy food, then the opportunistic bacteria will actually start having a party in your gut. And that is the problem that's going to cause a lot of the issues that we have nowadays. And
Because
so,
gut microbiomes can help with digestion. Again, like you said, depends on what you're digesting, what you're putting in your body. So they play a good role, and then they can play the opposite role. Again, is how you feed it, is how it grows. So gut microbiomes also can help with your digestion, help with, your body destroying harmful species that comes into our digestive system. So yeah, so microbiomes is a word that most people don't realize um, helps to control the immune system. Just the littlest things that we don't think about when they talk about gut health, overall gut health.
and when we read, we see that, there's some discrepancies. People say 75, others say 80, others say 85, but it's around 75 to 85 in the articles that I found, that our immune system is actually controlled by our gut and our microbiome. So you said it right, Dr. Romunda. If 80%, just to average it, 80% of immunity comes from the gut, then how important is the gut? That is how important it is.
Your
So
gut is definitely your lifeline. Your gut is truly your lifeline. Your lifeline. You say, you know, the old saying, death stops within your colon. Well, your colon is your gut, you know. So it has a starting place and it has a finishing place.
and you're a hydrocolonotherapist, so your specialty is colon. And I just want to know, like, what some of the things that I'm going to start with the negative, and then we'll bring it into the positive, which is how do we know that the microbiome, first, before I go into that one, is so is there a different, what is the difference between when we talk, when we say gut and when we say microbiome? So what would you, how would you educate us on what is gut and what is microbiome so that people differentiate the two?
So you have healthy microbiomes. Okay, so you have healthy microbiomes and gut health. Gut health, gut is just the actual word for abdomen. You know, it's just an easier word for people to say. My gut hurt, or because it's not your stomach. First and foremost, it's not your stomach. So when they say stomach, they identify in the wrong areas of the colon. I mean, of the body itself. So when you say, "Oh, my stomach hurt," then you're looking for the upper area. So you can use gut, belly. You know, they use the belly, the gut. You know, they're not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, my colon hurts." They're not gonna use words like that. They're not gonna sit here
That
and
would be
say,
funny.
no, and if they don't know to say my abdomen, they're not gonna say, "Oh, my abdomen hurts." They're not gonna use words like that. So gut happen to be a simple word that breaks down all the words that they normally wouldn't think to say. You see? "Oh, my gut hurts." Okay, now we know your gut hurts. You see? But if I say my belly hurts, okay, we know my belly. But if I say my abdomen, my colon, my intestines, they're like, "What? What are you talking about?"
And I like it. And I'm just going to go back. And I know that maybe most of the people know this, but we're talking about a digestive tract or a digestive system. And that really starts from your mouth, your esophagus, it goes to your stomach. And that's why Dr. Romunda is saying, like, you know, for us as little kids, the easiest thing was to say, "Mommy, my tummy hurts." But then we have the small intestine, the large intestine, and the colon, and you know, also obviously pancreas, liver, kidneys, and then the
Right.
other organs that work for, you know, so many things that we need. But in the digestive tract, the colon is the very last part of your intestine, and it's incredible because it's where, you know, you have to go through the whole highway, and to know that the end of the highway is basically one of the most important ones, if not the most. And that's why you're the gut health expert. That is, if you're not taking care of what's coming in, when it comes out, it's not going to come out in a good way, or it's not going to come out at all. And that's where the problem starts, right?
Mm-hmm. So the thing is about that, you have 30 feet of a digestive tract. 30. So from the time you put in your mouth, if you have from the cord from your mouth to your rectum and you stretch it out. So you got so many different avenues of your duodenum. It's known as your duodenum. So they got all these separate jugilium. Oh my God, my tongue is twisted today. But they have all these, you got the ileocecal valve, you got the sigmoid colon, but it's still one track because it's just 30 feet. So you got the small, which is 25. But what happened is from the stomach, it enters into the small intestines before it enters into the large intestines. So you got all these tracks that breaks down before it gets to the exit of the, you know, the exit pole, as you know, you call it the rectum. So from the 25, from the time you put in, that's a cord, which is known as your esophagus, you know, that goes right into that tube, right, runs right into the stomach. So when it runs into the stomach, I wish we had a diaphragm so we can show them what it actually looks
I
like.
will find it for you. You can continue.
So when it runs into the stomach, that's where the chime takes place. That's where it goes and start breaking down. It start lubricating, start, you know, the acid, the protein, everything in that stomach acid start breaking down the foods. Now, this is where you get messed up. Where people mess up is when they start drinking along with their meals, because you have natural enzymes, as you always hear me say, that breaks the foods down for you. So when you drink along with your meals, now you're diluting. And so what happens? Now you got all this food that's digesting in your body, but it's not breaking down, or it's not being able to be broken down because you just diluted the enzymes that break it down for you. So there's this process right there. So now we got heartburn, indigestion, burping, gas, all of those things that's in that little hand tube, and all that liquid is in there that chime that's trying to break it down. It really can't, like it should. Now the job is to break down what? Protein, carbs, fats. But how can it if it's been diluted? So that's why it's important not to drink any beverages along with your meals, mainly if you don't understand your saliva glands, what their job is, the salivary glands that breaks your foods down for you. So now you enter from that tube. Now the undigested, now from the nutrients is your small intestines, is where all the absorption of nutrients stop from your blood vessels, everything. That's where it dispersed. That's where everything dispersed. The kidney get this, the liver get this, the pancreas get this. Everything gets what it's supposed to get through your small intestine, through your blood vessels, everything through that small area. So the undigested now enters into what? The large intestines. All that was not able to be absorbed through whatever organ needed out of it. Now that all the undigested is where the stool forms into the large intestines, where you have the last 5 feet. So you go from the right small into the right side, which is known as the ileocecal valve, where it enters from that and it goes up, ascending down. Descending up to the ascending down round the transverse, and down it go to the descending area of the rectum, where it sits in that loop. That loop right there, as you see right here, if you can enlarge that for me, Claudia. This sigmoid right here is where people have the worst disease, where all the diseases actually flare up from, in the sigmoid of the colon, right there in that loop. Now, that loop right there also sits around the pelvis area. It sits around the pelvis area, and when it sits around the pelvis area, it actually goes around to the lower area of your back, which actually sit on the reproductive organs of women. It sits on the prostate of men. All that area right there. So behind all of this right here, as you see that ileocecal valve, that loop right there, that's it, right? Come right around on the left side, because we eliminate from the left side of the body. So all that slides around the pelvis area. So from the pelvis area, it comes around and then it goes hit that rectum. So if you have pain in your left area, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why kids out this time. If you have pain in your left area, it's because of the inflammation that has taken place in your large intestines that's not able to move because of the dehydration, because it could be dehydrated. And that's where you get the sciatic issues come from, all these things, sciatic nerve pain, all because the sigmoid, right around that loop right there, that little loop, I don't know if you can see my arrow or not, but all right there in that loop is your sigmoid. And when that sits on that nerve, all that reproductive area, you'd be surprised how the body flares up, how it flares up. So again, having that 30 feet of a digestive tract makes a big difference in what goes in must come out. So if it doesn't, just imagine, see the transverse here, the right across here at the top, that drops. So if anybody ever familiar with ever heard of a prolapsed colon, you have a prolapsed colon. So again, this is your colon, the transverse colon drops. When it drops, how many of you have had that pouch, that you see that pouch that sits at the lower part of your body? That's because the prolapse here of this colon actually has dropped. So again, your microbiomes, they're healthy microbiomes that will defend for you. But again, if you're not digesting properly, your body's not absorbing properly, you don't expect to eliminate properly, what you think is happening. That's when the viruses, the bacteria, the candida, all these things take place in the gut from that.
Very good.
Is that understandable? Did everybody understand that?
Yes, it was. I think it was very clear, but if you have any questions, because you walked me right through that diagram, and that's what I wanted to make sure that people understand, that sometimes as we get a little bit deeper into knowing our body and what is happening, Dr. Romunda has always said, digestive enzymes, absorption. It really is about that absorption, because if you're not absorbing, it doesn't matter if you're having the best quality food, organic, green juices. gardening from Chauvin's gardens. It doesn't matter. If you're not
Right.
absorbing, it doesn't matter. You're not going to have good health. And so
Right.
let's talk a little bit about uh, the dysbiosis of that microbiome. So the unhealthy microbiome or the unhealthy gut, let's just put it in one. And you were saying a few of the things that may give you a red flag that something is not right in there. And I also want to talk a little bit. I want to go into permeability of the gut and why we lose that permeability and what we can do about it. So let's go first into explaining to people some of the symptoms that people have when their gut is just simply not working properly. And you said some, but let's just go over them again.
So
So
you so you're looking at the autoimmune system. You're looking
problem
at autoimmune system. You're looking at thyroid issues. You're looking at arthritis. You're looking at diabetes. You're looking at high blood pressure. you know, you're looking at all of these diseases that they claim, us to have, known as the cancerous cells. All of these things are affected by what goes on in that body. All those things. So if your autoimmune system is being attacked by those invaders known as those pathogens, those invaders, they come in and they dominate and they regulate the digestive. You can go from constipation, you can have diarrhea, you can have heartburn, you can go to bloating, you can have irritable bowel syndrome. All these things take place such in your gut area. All these things take place in your gut area.
and also just to put it into the positive, we have a video in for life, and for those of you, most of you live are in for life, but if you're a guest or you're watching a video for the first time, we are representing for life research, because we're going to go into supplementation in a minute, and it talks about transfer factor reaching Peyer's patches. So I want to know a little bit more about what when we watch that video. If you haven't watched it, ask the person that is sending you this audio or this video to send you the video on how transfer factor works in your body. And it says that the molecule reaches Peyer's patches, and that's where it explodes and delivers the information of immunity. So I want you to tell me a little bit about Peyer's patches. Like what are they, or can we take care of them, or like what are Peyer's patches?
What are Peyer's patches? Okay, so let's go to this right. Let me see. So
I'll show a picture of it.
Yeah, show a picture of what Peyer's patches is. What is Peyer's patches? So, okay. So when you're looking at what Peyer patches are, you're looking at the transfer factor. Like, okay, for example, my gut microbiome gut test came back, right? And it lets me know what I'm missing that's not strong or not strong enough to fight off anything that comes towards my body, right? So these invaders, you got these invaders, but I have an autoimmune system that can fight it off, but I don't have the right missile. Okay, let me see how to say this without sounding crazy. I was teaching my class one day and we was talking about the military. You got 4 different stages in military: Army, Air Force, Marines, and whatever the other base is. Those are your
Marines, Air Force, military, and
Army and Navy.
yes.
So those are the things that protect us, right? That's what their job is, to protect us, right? So as they protect us, sometimes one of them may loses the potency, the power, and a missile may end up getting through to attack the immune system, right? So I'm trying to get my brain cells to connect around all these things. When you got so much going on in it, you got to go to that patch and find and bring back to the front so you can think about what needs to be thought about. So you're looking at all these things. Yeah, show a picture so I can show them.
Can you see it there? Or do I show it bigger? Let me see if I can get it bigger. Oh, so much advertising.
Mm-hmm. Help my brain out a little bit. When you think as much as I do all day, sometimes it go on auto shutdown.
So the Peyer's patch is that lining that the stomach has, and they're like little, like Dr. Romunda is saying, they're like warriors, and they're very tight. I just want to show this diagram right here, where each of them is like a little locker box. And so these locker boxes, they're very, very close to each other. When dysbiosis happens, which is when problems start, is when one of these, so this is an attacker right there. Do you see that attacker? He's trying to get into that lining of the stomach, the epithelial. Those are Peyer's patches. And so that the guy, and this is what Dr. Romunda is saying, they're trying to get in and they can't. So if you have a healthy microbiome and a healthy gut, they'll be able to destroy and they'll be able to fight and stick together. You see how stuck they are?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens, just like when Dr. Rumunda was saying, that if you're not eating properly, you're getting a impermeability of the gut lining because you're eating things that you shouldn't. You have lots of stress. Maybe an autoimmune is already running through your body. What is going to happen is that this barrier, this very tight barrier, is going to lose its weapons. The Army, the Air
right.
Force, that now
Right.
they can't do anything, and now the attackers are able to penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
And if they penetrate, that's it.
The
Now,
follics of it, right? The follics of it. So if you lose its control of the war, you lose control of the war because why? There was a weakness there. And sometimes in those linings depends on the acidity of your body, the acidity. So you have an alkalinity and a acidic and an alkalinity of your body. Depends on sometimes how acidic your body is. That's what makes the wall so thin.
that's
So
incredible.
that's another thing that we have to look at. Depends on the city. How many people have actually ever checked their pH levels to see how acidic or how alkaline their bodies are? You ever heard of people say, "Oh, you have internal bleeding, but we don't know where it's coming from"?
Absolutely. My mom has that. They still can't find it.
Because the lining is so thin because of the acidity of could be from medication. It could become from sodas because so much acid. It could become from certain chemicals. We put on, oh, I'm sorry. We put on our skin. Wait a minute, hold on, sorry.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it while you go. So that's why it's very good to control your acidity from the moment you start your day. So when you wake
Sorry.
up, it's good to have a nice cup of warm water with lemon because that will set your gut right into a good level of acidity. 30 minutes after you can start eating, but now your gut from your sleep of 7 or 8 hours, it's done a lot of the work that it needs to do. And so if you wake up, have some warm water with lemon, very healthy, like Dr. Zumander says, never cold, especially not with ice, always warm, room temperature or hot if you want, but some lemon, that's gonna really make that pH level really good for you and prepare you for the day and for what you're gonna eat through the day.
So what I do is I don't add. A lot of times people have to be careful because of the acid of the lemon. You got to be careful of that because that's very acidic. So I drink a lot of just water, even with lime. Lime the same way. I just drink straight warm water or hot water. I don't add anything to it. When I've added things to my water, like lemon, because it is so acidic, it makes me raspy. It makes raspiness in my voice because of the acid. So everybody can't do it. So you have to find what works for you and take your time and introduce your body to it. We can be so acidic because you can add um gallstones, you got kidney stones come from your body being so acidic. You got gout because your body's so acidic. You see, all these things stem from your gut because of the acidity in your body. The thinning of the walls in your esophagus from your mouth to your thinning. So these are things that we have to be mindful of when we're talking about the body itself, the internal body itself.
Yeah, and a lot of people may know this term more than others, which is the leaky gut, and it's very popular right now. So that leaky gut that you may have heard, maybe somebody told you, or the doctor, or you read it. That's exactly what we're talking about. Leaky gut is that little space that we were talking about, where the food, it's supposed to give you the nutrients, and then it's supposed to
Right.
go through your intestines and get discarded. Now things are not getting discarded properly, and it's leaking through that gut, leaking through those not so tight cells anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
now what it's causing is illness and disease, because it's creating a dysbiosis of the microbiome. Now the next point I'm going to touch on are.
You know what, Claudia, before you get to, if bowel, when they say leaky gut, that's like sepsis. In the hospital term, is known as sepsis. A lot of people's bodies goes into sepsis shock, and that's when they get to the real bad of it, that you die from it.
Yeah,
Um, so in
exactly.
hospital term, you may hear the word sepsis.
My
They're not
friend passed
thinking.
away from that just in December. If you remember, Dr. Romunda, I had already met you, and they said that the bacteria was so aggressive that it killed them in 19 days, and so it
That's
was
my
septic
sister.
shock.
My
Dr.
sister
Vani,
too.
I think her friend or sister or somebody really near
Mine.
to her also. So we have a lot of people dying from something as simple that we could have taken care of, just because the body gives you signals. The body says, I'm not comfortable. You're not eating something I
Mm-hmm.
should do. And then we allow it. So the gut is like a little, plumbing problem that happened, and it starts leaking. That's why it's called leaky gut, just a little bit. And then now, you didn't take care
Over
of
matter of
like a
time
plumbing
accumulate.
problem.
Yeah, over matter of times they accumulate. Because that's what I lost my sister to. Sepsis, went into sepsis shock. And
I
so
was
when
your
you,
sister. It was your sister.
yeah,
I thought it was
so when
Dr.
you have
Vani.
so much poison inside of your body, it does dominate from the heart, the lungs, your organs, and it does weaken those organs. So, and actually in reality, if you really ever think about what actually is the number one killer, is sepsis. When people go into sepsis shock, it's not, it's more so to talk about the diseases, but it's the sepsis of it, from that disease, that actually takes you and kills you, and wears and tears on your heart, and leaks your heart of the bleeding. So it
Absolutely. It's
does.
just it's so easy to die from that. People don't realize how many deaths in the hospitals are from a bacterial infection that came from inside your body, that your immune system was not able to control, just because it got out of control. And
Mm-hmm.
and so that, now closing in, it brings me to, what can we do to have a healthier gut? Now let's talk health. Let's not talk scary things. Let's get into the good stuff, and we'll finish with supplementation, but let's talk about good food for your gut. Like, what are good foods for your gut? What does the microbiome love?
It likes for you to take your time and enjoy your meal. That's what it likes. It likes for you to put healthy food, that good nutrition to it. It's like, how many people have had sauerkraut? You ever had sauerkraut before?
I love sauerkraut. I love
Sau-
sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut is good. You see, how many people enjoy, yogurt, non-dairy Greek yogurt, that's a probiotic,
Kefir.
things like
Uh,
that. Um, oh man.
sauerkraut, yogurt, it's more the kefir, not the sweet one.
Yeah, not the sweet one. That's
Kim,
what I said, a non-dairy one, the
kimchi,
non-dairy.
kimchi,
Quinoa. You can look at quinoa.
anything in vinegar, anything that you like, not the pickled cucumbers too, but those get sometimes people too much. They put salt on them. Those are
Well,
not
I
good.
tell you know what I say about that, Claudia. I tell people all the time. I said, you're not supposed to mix tomatoes and cucumbers together anyway. It likes, you eat one or the other because of the acidity that's in the cucumber as well as in the tomato. So you should tomatoes, you want to put on the salad, that's fine. Cucumber salad with some onions, little vinegar
Mm,
in it, good. Because what happened is cucumber has a lot of potassium. It has a lot, it keeps your gut hydrated. It's hydration. Um, Magnesium, things like that. Zinc. It has those in it. Bell peppers, your color, your red, orange peppers. People like peppers. I like peppers because peppers has a lot of good nutrients in it as well. And that good snack food. Hummus. Sweet potatoes, you don't even sometimes have to cook it. You can chop it up and use it like and put hummus with it. Your your carrots, you know, earthly foods. When you grow your garden, like Siobhan and her garden. My grandma said, "Hey, me used to sit in the yard and just eat as is. We ain't going there and cook nothing. We just ate it as is." But we so used to taking stuff out and put it in a pot and put flavor to it, season it up when it already came naturally seasoned because our ground was already what has all the minerals that it needs to have to produce that food that we're eating. When we eating foods and even if you eat something that you shouldn't, when you take your enzymes, it helps to break down the fats, carbs, and proteins that your body needs to have from that food. So we have to look at what type of food, even drinking your meals. Oh, you couldn't ask for nothing better when you drink it because now your body is like really getting what it needs and to keep it hydrated. It also is supposed to stimulate the muscle, the colon. Your perosteal muscle help to keep that contracted moving. When you're eating foods that offer protein, good salads of protein, good fruits and dog like avocado, things like that. Even if you eat in nuts, you got your walnuts and pecans, you got almonds, things like that that offer your body good wellness, good nutrients, not herbs. There's a difference. There's a difference. Herbs is something you have to be careful with when it come down for people taking medication. But when you're taking supplements that are made from foods, that's better for you. You see? And so, you got your, like I say, your vegetable, your greens, and your snap peas. I'm not a corn person because everybody know corn doesn't break down into the body. They know corn is like oily grease on your sternum, on your tires. If you look at corn is made with your plastic silverware. It's made from corn. you know? So, watermelon. Watermelon is another fruit that is very good for hydration, but it's also another fruit that you eat by itself. Cantaloupe, you got peaches and pears. All these things, people they'll say, oh, you can't eat that because you're a diabetic because it's too sweet. But yet you're drinking a Pepsi, you eating, eating fries. So you tell me I can't have the natural, but I can have the processed. Processed food is not good for us. It's not good for us at all. But you telling me I can't have what is good for me, but I can eat the stuff that doesn't break down in my body. So you have to really know how to know yourself and give yourself what it needs to have. My whole day to day was a full day of just educating and helping people. It's like my brain. So I got to go ahead and read. I had to take my Age Pro.
I actually, I'm going to go into supplementation, and you and I want to start that Digest Reset for Life Challenge in August for those that did not want to do the Dr. Ronnie 21 pounds in 21 days.
Yes.
We have a second option for you, and it's our Digest Reset for Life starting on August 1st. Anybody that wants to still eat, but do it fiber-based, which is what Dr. Romunda likes. Yeah. She likes a fiber-based detox, or sorry, cleanse. We're going to call it cleanse so that people don't get confused. Fiber-based cleanse, and having 3 meals a day because you need the fiber to push the food out of your body. So in this cleanse is a little bit different than the ones that you may have been hearing us and that we're doing in the other group. So if you didn't go into that group just because maybe you were afraid and you were nervous and I'm going to be hungry and everything, Dr. Romunda and I, we're going to run a 10-day Fiber System Plus cleanse. This is going to be a really nice soft cleanse for those of you that still want to cleanse, still want to do the Digest System for Life, reset your gut. And I saw that Siobhan changed her background, and I love that. So I want to see if I can bring her in and give us a little bit about the food before I jump into supplementation. We're not going to touch on the whole cleanse. This
not training, this time.
This training is about gut and microbiome, and also we have a gut brain connection that is another talk Dr. Romunda and I will talk about, which is the emotional part of the microbiome. Gabriella Daughtry is an expert on that one. and I think she's busy because her camera's off, so I'm not going to bring her in unless she wants to, but definitely I want to bring Chauvin because she put her page out there. And so Chauvin, we're going to start with Dr. Romunda, a 10-day cleanse with Fiber System Plus, very different than the other one we're running. This one you have to eat lots of vegetables of all colors, like Dr. Romunda says, peppers, tomatoes are allowed in this one, anything, as long as you keep yourself well fed with good, high quality, organic, nutritious food. So give us a little bit about that. Like, why should people be eating? What is the difference between growing your own food and buying junk food or buying things that come from a box or a bag? Like, why? Because this is where it's going to mark the difference on microbiome health.
That meal Siobhan, you talking meal Siobhan?
I need to take her. I haven't given her co-host. 1 second.
Because guard plant, you talking meal Siobhan?
Chauvin, I want Chauvin
Okay.
to help us with this segment.
There she is. Bring her in. You're gonna tag her in?
I gave her co-host. She can come in because that's her expertise, which are veggies.
Okay. Oh wow. That's a big topic. But yeah, I grew these behind me. These are cantaloupe because
yes,
when you were talking cantaloupe, I was looking at what I had in my virtual backgrounds here, and we've grown cantaloupe for community through Growing to Give, and you can also see sort of the yellowy ones are honeydew. So we also grew Dr. Romunda's favorite. These are bell peppers, and they start out green. They turn purple, this really dark purple, and then they can turn red. As you can see, some of them in the bottom corner, you can see little bits of red. And the longer they stay on the plant, the sweeter they get, right? So and the colors, right? And the colors, the orange and yellow, right? So what's happening is the nutritional value of food straight out of your garden or fresh from a farm market, because the farmers usually pick first thing in the morning or the night before, right? The afternoon before a farmer's market. They're preparing all their goods to sell. So that is the freshest way to get food, fresh food, is to go to a farmer's market. And you can ask them straight out, and I would, are you bringing this food in from anywhere but your local farm? Because some farm markets do supplement throughout the year. They'll supplement with trucked in food. So you're really not getting any different than you would at a supermarket. But in the supermarket, as you can imagine, it takes time to get from the farmer's field, wherever that happens to be. So it could be in California and you're in Louisiana, right? That's where your fresh food is coming from. Could be that far away that it's like California, Mexico, they import up into Canada, right? So your food could be sitting on a truck for days and days and days and days, right? So it's losing every minute it comes off the plant, it's losing a nutritional value. I think that's the first thing. So the more you can grow, whether you're growing at home on your you've got an apartment and you can only grow like some tomatoes, some peppers, plants like that on your balcony in containers, do it, try it, because the more you can grow, the healthier it'll be for you, right? So and food is really the nutritional value in the food is at the peak of ripeness off the plant, right? So if you know that they pick tomatoes, they'll pick tomatoes green and then they'll gas them with ethylene, I think it is gas, to ripen them. So that's not actually being ripened on the vine. So you have to remember that our food supply has been compromised by our need for convenience, right? So instead of being like our grandparents, great grandparents, generations before us, where there was always probably land that they grew on, and they grew everything. And they, maybe they got sugar from somewhere, or something, but they had a cow for butter and milk. They had the garden. They knew how to preserve and dry food and all that kind of stuff. And we don't know squat, right? So the other thing I think is, and I just went off, I'm just in my last 2 days of Dr. Ronnie's Detox for Longevity, and I have released, wow, 21 pounds in 18 days. But the one thing I found was really interesting is my taste buds started to go wonky on me. The first week I was like, oh, butternut squash, I love butternut squash. And it was tasting good, like I kind of made my pablum, I call it, because, I liked it a little bit thicker than the soup. And I was happy to do that. And then the next week, as the candida started and the toxins started to come out of my tongue was coated white. The vegetables tasted horrible, like really horrible. And I started to remember how amazing the flavor is of freshly grown food. So something like the cantaloupe that you saw behind me, we grew that, and people were lining up for this cantaloupe because I took some of it to test it at the farm market I was working at. And people were like, where did you get that cantaloupe? And I was like, oh, it's only a test. We're just testing. The rest is gone to the food banks, right? And John's mom, she's like, never tasted the cantaloupe so good. It was, and I hate cantaloupe. I think it tastes like, the bottom of your feet. I don't know. It tastes like
what a
something
description
horrible to me, but I absolutely love the cantaloupe. The tomatoes, kids will say, oh, I don't like any tomatoes, yeah, tomatoes are horrible, right? You've probably heard that from your own kids. And they've never had a fresh off the vine ripened tomato, just grown in like really good fertile soil, because the tomatoes in the store, they don't taste like anything. But you put a cherry tomato or a Roma tomato, like behind me, these are sauce tomatoes. We grew 11,000 to 18,000 pounds of them. You can see we had truckloads going out. Like, that's a little truck too. We had big half-ton trucks coming in from the food banks to get these. And if you take a cherry tomato, and I don't see any cherry tomatoes in my background here, but if you take a cherry tomato and pop it in your mouth, oh, good. Call me Campbell's, and that's it. We're done for the day, right? So I think that it's really important that everybody finds a way to grow food, or go, start a community garden. If you don't have a community garden in your neighborhood, buy land so that you save the family farms, right? Or ask a family farmer, can we do a community farm on your acreage? That's Growing to Give is actually, we're just in the middle of writing a grant for a Washington family farm that used to have thousands of acres, and they were 108-year-old family farm in Eastern Washington, and they lost most of it. They're down to 34 acres. And of course, on 34 acres of farm, you can't make any money. I mean, it's so difficult. But of course, with my husband, John's crop circle farm systems, we can, because we grow a lot of food in a small space. So we're growing huge, right? We're growing this behind me is the pepper spiral. So the peppers that you saw early, this is a 1/4 acre spiral, and this is growing. Those peppers, they were picked the day the Rotary Club came out, and the Rotary Club came out and they picked between 4,000 and 6,000 pounds in a few hours off of that pepper spiral. And you can see behind me that we needed a lot of big things. there they are up close, and you see them. But I think you want to go homegrown, locally grown food. Be sure to make sure it's not being trucked in, because it's grown usually with fewer chemicals. You also want to ask, is this grown with any chemicals? Like, for instance, ours is, there's no chemicals or pesticides used because of the system and because of the spiral itself, and the plants are happy because they're getting the water. And so I think that you have to sort of always ask, how long has this food been off the vine? So if it's Mexico growing or California growing, and you're not in Mexico or California, it's been off the vine a long, long time. And so that will cause a loss of nutrients. And I think that the loss of nutrients, Dr. Romunda, you can probably tell me, probably affects your gut. Obviously, Dr. Ronnie would say nutrient, 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 right? Because she calls herself a nutrient doctor. And that's what she was focused on giving us in our detox. So yeah, I think, you know, I think those are kind of the key things.
Well, those are good key things though, because like those are, because I love everything you mentioned, mainly the cantaloupe. I used to juice the cantaloupes, the melons. I would juice them because again, it's all about the absorption. You know, your body getting what it needs out of it. Just like grapes, I juice the vines and everything, the seeds, the whole thing, the vine, the seeds. I juice all of it. I put all of it in there and just juice it. Watermelon, the rimes, the same thing. The rime, I juice the rime as well, because that's where a lot of your nutrients is in the rind of the watermelon. So that's a great thing. Siobhan, I'm gonna have to move out there with you. I mean, my God, that is beautiful. That man, that brought me
She's
back to
making my
grandma
mouth
life.
water. I know.
I'm going to move out
Everything
there
looks
with
beautiful.
Siobhan, and y'all gonna see me over there in a minute. I'll be like, what?
Well, that's why Dr. Ronnie keeps talking. If you've noticed, she's like, Siobhan's going to come to Martha's Vineyard. And,
No, we
you
going
know,
to Siobhan. We ain't
if
going to
we
Mom.
could
We
get
going to
a
Siobhan.
little farm there, you better believe that there's going to be some growing on Martha's Vineyard. But I think that you do have to be careful of what leaves you put in your smoothies because some of them are actually poisonous. So make sure that you check Google before you start putting your leaves in. I think grape leaves are great because what do they make? Dalamanthas or Dalamanthas. It's Greek. They they stuff grape leaves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. Oh, it's so delicious. It's and then they put oh, I love that dish. I love that dish. Well, I love this talk, and Siobhan was just a surprise, but my goodness, now I see that I need to do a talk again with Siobhan on microbiome food, because we could spend like an hour talking about all the great colorful food that and Evelise is saying, I love gardening. So I want to answer a few questions, and I'm just going to close up with a little bit more information on the cleanse. And also remember that Saturday, Dr. Romunda and I will be talking about second part, microbiome health. It'll be more specific to prebiotic, our supplement. Saturday Talks is more based on product. And so we'll be really focusing on that, why prebiotic is the number one product for your health with for life and all that. So definitely, Siobhan, thank you. Can you please add the link for Growing to Give? I want everybody to go to Growing to Give. Make sure to go to Facebook page. Make sure to watch all the videos that she's posting. She's like doing so many good talks all week. Make sure that you share with friends. Community gardens are the way to go. So make sure that you share Siobhan's not-for-profit Growing to Give, because we're gonna need it. And so it's very important that you share that. So thank you, Siobhan. And I'm gonna go now to the questions. So Dr. Munda, Avis from Malaysia, she's asking us something about, which is with what Siobhan was talking about too, which is what do you think about nightshades and the story about inflammation in our joints? So I have my views on that, but Dr. Romunda and Siobhan can give us view on let's start with Dr. Romunda.
Well, you got to be careful with your nightshade foods, mainly because of circulation is one of the key things. And if your body's not moving in circulation, it causes inflammation build up, which causes pains in your body. So you got certain foods that does refresh my thinking on the foods that nightshades.
They are eggplant, peppers, and tomatoes.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful with those types of food because of what they're made of and what the ingredients are in them. When you're talking about nightshade foods, if she's dealing with inflammation, remember inflammation is because, and I hope everybody got their 2-for-1 in the digestive enzymes today. I hope that the Tuesday special of the digestive enzymes, I hope everybody may put them in their basket because that will help break down the contents of the food that we eat. So when you're looking at your digestive enzymes, that helps to eliminate as much inflammation that the body accumulates because of that. So I hope everybody ordered their digestive enzymes today, and take full advantage of taking them because it does help to eliminate the inflammation that does build up in your body.
Yes, and Avis put it for us: potatoes, tomatoes, chilies, capsicum, eggplants. And so what happens, my view on it is that it really depends on your body. I don't believe it causes inflammation in every single body. It's the quantity and the quality that will. So, like Siobhan said, we're not going to stop eating tomatoes. So, but you can take the seed off. You can take, you can, same thing with my husband eats peppers every single day. And he doesn't have really any inflammation. He doesn't have any pain, and he loves them. We're Latino, so we put pepper in everything.
Yeah.
But if you overdo it and your body is sensitive, then obviously you're going to have an issue. So it doesn't mean, oh, I can't eat nightshades because they're very bad. No, your body will talk. It will tell you what to eat. You can't eat tomato because you get heartburn and acid reflux. Okay, then you're sensitive to nightshades or eggplants, things like that.
Right. Now, and that's why I said about the digestive enzymes, because that'll help break down.
Correct.
Those, and help your body get what it needs out of it. So it won't give you that inflammation. Inflammation is because we're not digesting properly, in our bodies, and we're not taking the time chewing our food, or we're not allowing our enzymes and our saliva to break our foods down for us. A lot of people may guzzle. So when we rush eat the rut, we rush eaters, so you're not digesting good. So that's where inflammation comes from as well, which is number plaque. It's plaque in your cholesterol is considered plaque. So those are things you have to look at. Inflammation, in our body can cause from arthritis, uric acid. So there's different falls under the word inflammation. You got to look at that as well. So it depends on how much arthritis uric acid you have in your body. That's a form of what? Inflammation. You see? So things like that. If you look at a list of inflammations, you'll see a whole list of things that fall under inflammation.
And Gabby's been saying something over and over in the chat for the people in Facebook. They might not be looking at the chat. It says lectin is what causes the inflammation. So remove the skin and the seeds where lectins exist in the vegetables that have lectin. And also Gabby was saying processed food is the leading cause of colon cancer. And the other thing was that lectin will also break the barrier, that gut barrier that we were talking about will be broken by lectin. I also want to go to one more question, which is Happy Faye, and it's, should I eat
Siobhan Grace, would you?
Oh, Siobhan,
just while you're on the topic of that, I was pretty sure that tomato leaves and the stem and like the whole plant is very toxic. So you don't want to be eating that. The same with the potato leaves and all that kind of stuff. And that's going to be harmful in large quantities. So that's why people aren't eating the whole plant, right? So you got to be careful of what plants you're eating. But there are weeds that you can eat, and make sure you learn about foraging, because when I was running the farm market, of course, it was a farm that had a lot of weeds. It wasn't a crop circle farm, but people would come, and these would actually be immigrants from places like Iran and Iraq, and just, maybe Russian and places like that. And they would ask if they could go pick the weeds. And there was all kinds of different weeds like lamb's ear and I'm like, Oh my gosh. But they pick them and they use them as greens.
Wow,
So
yeah, yeah.
And be
you learn
careful
to
with
forage
mushrooms
for your
too.
food too.
Mushroom is another one you gotta be careful with, because mushroom is a fungus. So you gotta be careful with the type of mushroom and make sure you can actually test your body to see if your body um can digest it properly as well. But so mushroom is another, you gotta be careful. I tested, I loved me some mushroom, and my body's like, no more. You done got what you needed out of mushroom. That's it. And now I can't even eat mushroom because whatever I was eating out of mushroom, I can no longer, my body doesn't receive it.
Wow. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna just show the tongue scraper to Coach Shar. By the way, Coach Shar is a guest from Dr. Romunda. Coach Shar, we are happy to have you, and I definitely want to hear what we got to connect to see what you have to teach us next time. So, tongue scraper, Gabby Daughtry is the specialist on this. I use one that is very small, like the ones here on the right. You can get them at any drugstore. Gabby uses these fancy ones like this. She showed me, not when she's tongue scraping though, only the tongue scraper. But Gabby's pretty big. This is the one I use. They're very small. You can find them at any drugstore. Coach Char. Okay. And nightshade, I had a picture here for those of you that don't know what the nightshades are. Again, thank you, Avis, because you shared some of that. So now let's go and finish up with the detox on August 1st. So like I said, a lot of us, I mean over 75 people, were doing the longevity detox, which is based on a liquid diet and some, basically all vegetables, no protein, no carbs. And so we're going to leave that one and we're going to have a second round of that for the end of August. So if you want info on that, we don't want to confuse you, keep doing that. But guess what? For those that are ready to start another type of cleanse, we have our Digest Reset with For Life. This pack, we have been having it in North America for a long time. If you're in Malaysia or in Singapore and other parts, you may have some of the products like the fiber system, the probiotics, the aloe vera. You may or may not have the digestive enzymes. You may or may not have the super detox, but I know for a fact you have the fiber system because it's one of the most sold products around the world. And so you can start with just the 10-day cleanse. Dr. Munda and I will be helping you through the first 10 days. And so, Dr. Munda, are we starting on August 1st? Like, are we going to choose day one, August 1st, for people that want to order their kit or their fiber system? And we're going to guide them through the 10 days? Or should we start like on the 5th or 10th to
I
give them a
think
chance to order?
I've let
That
them
kit?
order. I think they should order.
Let's let them
And so if
order on the
everybody
first, right?
yeah, if they order on the first,
They'll
they
get it
give
on
an
the
amount of
5th.
days, and then by the 5th or the 6th, we should be ready to start. Because everybody should
Okay.
have their process, their supplements in that time. So we can start
Yeah.
that process.
So not to confuse people, we're going to use the cleanse, detox, and balance group. I put the this group in the chat. It's a Facebook group that I've run with Michael, and Dr. Munda is going to be doing some live. Dr. Munda and I will be doing some live Facebook feeds, 10, 15 minutes. We're going to just jump in and talk about products, answer questions. So we're just going to be jumping. I'm going to probably invite Chauvin to help me on, because a lot of the questions on that detox are, what can I eat? What can I not eat? So I see that Chauvin is going to be a great asset for this part of the what should I eat while I'm taking care of my microbiome segment. And so you'll get more information. Just follow the person that invited you to this Facebook live video, or if you are a For Life distributor, it's going to be easier because we're in the chat in the WhatsApp group.
Hey, Claudia,
Yeah.
you said a guest came in.
Yeah, you have a guest. Her name
I have a
is
guest. Only
yeah.
how many guests came in? That's
She's your guest. We have all For Life affiliates, but we have brand new guest that hasn't been in our. Oh, where did she go? Here she is, Coach
so if
Star.
it's up.
She is
There
your
she is.
guest. She invite you. She was invited by you.
So guess what? Because she came in, I will be giving her a gift of her digestive enzymes for coming in tonight.
Let me bring her into the
For coming in
spotlight so that
tonight.
you can say hello to her. Let me take off her mic so she can introduce herself. Let me just take off your mic, Coach Shar.
She's
You
been
can
around
take
a
off your
long
mic.
time as one of my long time sister friends, been hanging around me a long time. So she knows me from a long time of what I used to be over the county's health and fair. So there you go. What's up, sweetie? How are you? Good for coming in.
Yeah, I saw the link that you posted on Facebook, and I need to start taking care of my gut. So I was attracted to that specifically. And my mom has gastrointestinal disease, and I mean, she got all kind of stuff wrong with her. I'm so scared. I better start doing some prevention, because prevention is worth an ounce of cure, right?
Yeah. And I talked about that this morning. If anybody noticed my post, I was like, what are we doing for preventive care? What are we doing about that? You see everything is shutting down and you can't get to certain things. What are we doing in case of preventive care? So you have a bottle of digestive enzymes coming your way because you took time to come out tonight and hang out with us. And I appreciate that very much.
Well,
Very
thank you. I
good. And she
appreciate
came
it too.
early. She
That's
came 2
good.
hours ago. And I said, you're in the wrong time, Coach Shar. You need to come back later. So we definitely want to get to know you more. Thank you for coming tonight. This is the end of our meeting, but I do want to invite you, not only you, Coach Shar, let me just remove spotlights from all of us so we can start saying hello and goodbye to each other on that Facebook, so we can all, let me remove this one and remove this one. And so that way Facebook has all of our pictures. So I want to invite everybody to our talk with Dr. Romunda on Saturday. Saturday is at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And again, we're going to be talking a little bit about again, that 10-day fiber system plus system, 10-day fiber system plus.
It's Digest for
I
Life.
don't know if I got the name
Digest for
right.
Life.
But yes, by the way, it should be taken with your digestive enzymes. So those should be the first 2 products. If that's all you want to do, just a 10-day, that's fine. If you want to continue with that detox, it goes with a liver detox after that, which is our super detox. And then the third part is the restoration or restore part, which is your prebiotics, your aloe vera, and your transfer factor, trifactor, to make those bacteria very happy and populate really fast. So we're going to be touching on all those products. But again, the most important thing, 2 products, fiber system, digestive enzymes, easy wheezy, under $100, and you got a nice clean gut. But obviously you're going to have to invest a little bit in fresh, organic, nice food, or grow a garden to make it cheaper, like Siobhan says. And you're going to have that gut clean, Shar. It's going to be really good.
We got to add on the Firelax too.
Yeah, we're going to be touching on, those are more support products, but the kit itself, that's what we're going to focus on. And the Tea for Life, obviously. So we're going to touch on all the digest products. And please join the Facebook group if you haven't. That's Cleanse, Detox, and Balance. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're having our Red Hot Talk topic, and maybe Siobhan can help me with the title because I just forgot the title. And after that, our business opportunity with For Life. If you're looking for a way to create some income, to get some supplements for yourself, get some free product, share the health, share the wealth. Our business opportunity is at 9 p.m. right after Red Hot. Siobhan, what is our topic with Red Hot? I don't know now. Let me see. I asked to unmute. I didn't give her. I did give her co-host.
Let me
see.
It's I'm playing charades.
You should say weightlifting, winning victory.
I should be
getting stronger, exercise. Oh my gosh, the importance of an active life. Okay.
No, it's like physical exercise, bad news, but it's not a question mark. So let's find out what Dr. Ronnie has to say tomorrow night on Red Hot Topics with the Dynamo host, Omar Renamar, which Dr. Romunda just met.
Very nice. Red Hot and Uncensored on exercise. I want to hear that one. I always am like so excited to hear what she has to say. So Red Hot at 8, followed by a business opportunity on how to create income through getting people healthier. So this is what we are about. And Saturday, our wellness talk with Dr. Romunda. And so that's all for tonight. I'm going to unmute everybody. Thank you for those that made it live. Thank you, Coach Sharp, for being our guest of the night. You are our queen of the night. And everybody that is listening to our live feed, thank you, Facebook friends. Let me turn off that Facebook. No, I want to turn it off before I unmute everybody. And everybody can cheer on Dr. Romunda and cheer on Chauvin, who came in. And I didn't even tell her I was going to bring her in. Thank you, everybody.
Hey,
Hope you
Claudia.
love
Hey,
it.
Claudia, can you? Hey, Claudia, I want to do one
Thank
thing.
you.
I want each one to identify, since it's not that many of us, where you coming and where you tuning from. I want each one of you to identify where you're tuning from, because I want Miss Shaw to hear how international you are.
Oh, okay. Let's start with Adriana. Where are you from? Where are you tuning in from?
I'm from Ocala, Florida.
Woo, Evelise.
Connecticut.
Woo, Sonia.
California.
California. Avis.
Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Kuala Lumpur. My goodness, Avis, I had
Wow.
never seen your hair. You got beautiful hair, woman. Wow.
Mhm.
I don't know if she's
Thank
only
you.
got it. Wow. Sandra, where are you tuning in from?
From Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Albuquerque, New
Wow.
Mexico. Faye, where are you tuning in from?
I'm from Singapore.
Singapore.
Wow.
Woo. Gabriela Daughtry, where are you tuning in from? She's busy, maybe. I can't get her to it. Hold on.
Unmute. Oh, there
Unmute,
we go. I'm in California and I just finished my soup.
She finished her soup. Can't see you yet. Gabriela Daughtry, our queen of the house. Gabriela in the house. And now with our three speakers, Chauvin, where are you tuning in from?
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. I knew she would say that.
Did Sonia say where she from?
California.
Planet Earth.
Orange.
California?
Disneyland.
California, but for now she stopped by, did a pit stop in Arizona, but she is in Scottsdale, Arizona, but she is Planet Earth girl. Everybody knows her as that. Shar, I am in Canada, and Dr. Romunda tuning in from
Everywhere.
everywhere. Oh, you're trying to compete with
Yeah,
the
she's somewhere different every time I talk to her.
Yeah, she is. She is. She is.
And
Thank
look,
you,
when
Evan.
I asked God to enlarge my territory, this is what
Amen.
he did, y'all. He really enlarged the territory to allow me to talk to people from so many different on the map, from so many different places. And we have gained such a love and respect for each other. And you couldn't ask for nothing better. When you ask God about enlarging territory, he didn't say you have to show up. He said you just have to be there, and they will come. So this is where everybody come from, so many different places. And it's fan, and it's more too. It's more. They just resting tonight because we got one tomorrow night.
Yeah, Coach
Grow
Shar,
it and
where
they
are you
will come.
tuning? I forgot to ask her where she was tuning in from. Coach Shar, where are you tuning in from? You can.
I'm in Baltimore, but I'm from California.
From California, but tuning in from
Baltimore.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh,
Baltimore,
very
Maryland.
good.
Coach, what kind of
Very
coach are
good.
you?
Very good. All right. Thank you,
Wait a
everybody.
minute, wait a minute, Claudia.
Good night. See
Claudia.
you
I
tomorrow.
want to be a
Claudia, hold
softball
on.
coach.
Oh, you finished? Are you recording? You wasn't recording, right?
I am recording. I'm
Oh, because Sonia asked Shaw what kind of coach she was. We can stop
I'm
the
a
recording
grief
if you
coach.
want.
A
and
grief
continue.
coach.
Oh,
A
okay,
grieving
A
okay.
grief
coach.
coach.
Oh, we need her for the show, Chauvin. You gotta connect with her.
Shar, you have to connect with me through Dr. Ramunda, and I'd like to invite you to do a Feel Good, Share Good show on Monday night, sometime in the, it's probably going to be October, but
Dr. Romunda, connect her with Chauvin so she can be one of our speakers. That's such a good topic.
yeah.
Very good.
I would
done
love
that.
to. I would love to.
Very
Definitely.
good.
Very good. All right. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Exciting night. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Thank you
Dr.
all.
Ramunda.
Thanks for a
Good
great
night.
talk, you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Take
Bye-bye.
recording